Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here's a little point of hypocrisy that we could expose today. Leftoids and one of their favorite buzzwords, misinformation and disinformation. Whether it's Brian Stelter doing some sort of weird seminar in front of college students about the dangers of misinformation, disinformation that seem to only exist at Fox News from his perspective, or whether it's Obama and Hillary Clinton doing their little disinformation grift, Joe Biden's White House attempting to promote a disinformation czar, creating what people dubbed a ministry of truth within the federal government. The Democrats love to push their propaganda that they're the ones fighting disinformation, that they're the only honest ones in the political realm. Oh, those evildoers at Fox News and those terrible Republicans spreading constant, dangerous misinformation. Such dangerous misinformation that people are literally dying. Of course, the typical Democrat grift. Everything our opponents say is dangerous and is killing people. Yada yada, you've heard it a million times before. Their narrative is so bogus, it's not even funny. And of course, they did something similar with Donald Trump during his entire presidency. Donald Trump lied over 20,000 times, 20,000 instances of misinformation and mistruths. Donald Trump said that he's 6'3", but actually he's 6'2", 7'5". Ridiculous nonsense like that. Supposedly Donald Trump is the liar. But of course, Democrats are throwing stones when they live in a damn glass house. The biggest liar, in my opinion, in American political history happens to be Joe Biden. And don't take my word for it. The new Community Notes feature on Twitter points out this very obvious fact. Let me show you guys what's going on. The Joe Biden administration is the most dishonest administration in American history. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, the administration that tried to start a ministry of truth, the administration connected to President Barack Obama, who now is calling for getting Americans, quote, digital fingerprints to police misinformation, the same administration that said that they would be the most transparent White House in American history, literally can't stop getting fact-checked on Twitter. I mean, it's becoming some sort of running joke at this point. Joe Biden tweets and Community Notes absolutely BTFO him. Democrats, of course, doing their anti-gun shtick, like usual. Joe Biden tweets, guns are the #1 killer of kids in America. More than car accidents and more than cancer. We can't let that become just another statistic. Let's ban AR-15 style firearms and other assault weapons. The exact type of emotional Democrat rhetoric that people take at face value, the typical left-wing emotional reaction, how could this be? But of course, it's a total lie and meant to manipulate people into voting for Democrats as they pretend as though they're going to do something to solve the problem. Solving the problem of gun deaths when it comes to minors by banning AR-15s, which aren't even used in the large majority of these shootings. It's mostly handguns. But the fact check hit his tweet. According to the CDC, accidents are the leading cause of death for children and adolescents. The claim that guns are the leading cause of death for children would only be true if children under 1 are excluded and 18 to 9-year-olds are counted as children. Do you view 18 to 19-year-olds as children? No, obviously not, because you're not a complete dishonest Democrat lunatic. 18 and 19-year-olds are fully grown adults. They can vote. Children, arguably, are like 2-year-olds to, maybe like 11-year-olds. I don't have the scientific category, but 13 to 17, maybe we could include 12-year-olds. If you're 13 plus, technically you're a teenager. We could include children, I guess, in the definition, but even then, it's still not the case. Guns are not the #1 killer of children, even if you include teenagers, and again, you have to exclude babies under 1 year old. This is a straight-up lie, meant to manipulate the audience into thinking that there's some sort of epidemic of gun violence affecting children. That's not the case. Although there is an epidemic of gun violence, but it's one that Democrats conveniently ignore because there's kind of a common denominator with this situation. This gun violence epidemic, well, it's basically a problem that's unique to Democrat cities. Oh, well, would you look at that? At least 29 people shot at an illegal street takeover in Willowbrook near Chicago, Illinois. 29 people shot during a single car meetup in the Democrat utopia known as Chicago, most likely with illegal handguns, illegal firearms, most likely gang members members, anywhere from 17 to early 20 years old, in cities with soft on crime Democrat policies, defunded police departments. Yeah, but apparently the core of the problem is the inanimate object itself, the firearm, and law-abiding citizens' right to purchase certain types of weapons that aren't even used in most of these deadly encounters. These are the people who are constantly going on about misinformation. All they do is spread misinformation. Let's really put it into perspective. Former President Obama is calling for a disinformation task force to gather people's digital fingerprints or footprints to police misinformation. Well, I don't know if you want to do that, because it seems as though the individual or the account that's going to have the greatest footprint or fingerprint of misinformation is Piss Pants Biden in the White House's Twitter account. The Biden-Harris administration lowered the deficit with the single largest one-year reduction in American history. Fact check false. Misinformation. America is not a deadbeat nation. We have never, ever failed to pay our debt. MAGA Republicans are engaged in reckless hostage-taking by threatening to force America into default. It's dangerous and wrong. Yeah, fact check. Misinformation. I'm proud of the progress we have made. We reduced the deficit in our first 2 years by $1.7 trillion. That includes more revenue by asking the wealthy and large corporations to begin to pay their fair share and cutting subsidies to big oil and big pharma. Yeah, fact check. Misinformation. In my first year as president, we saw the largest one-year growth in women's participation in the labor force in nearly 30 years. Yeah, fact check. Misinformation. 12.7 million jobs added under President Joe Biden. Yeah, fact check. Misinformation. I make no apologies for being the most pro-union president in American history. Fact check. On December 22nd, 2022, President Biden signed a bill to block the railroad union from striking. Fact check. Misinformation. Inflation is down 40% since last summer, and it's come down the last 9 months in a row. We have more work to do, but we're trending in the right direction and we're making real progress. Yep, fact check. Misinformation. Holy moly. Community notes are the greatest tool ever added to Twitter because they've finally added some context. Not only do they add context to individual lying tweets by clarifying some of these dishonest and disingenuous claims, but they've added context as a whole as to who really are the purveyors of misinformation. I constantly see these leftoids claiming that community notes are rigged. They only go one way. Elon Musk has rigged the system to only fact-check leftoids. No, you're just on the side that can't stop lying. Democrats have lived in a fake news vacuum for so long. They've had every single benefit. They've had the entire media and social media apparatus protecting them for years, and so they've been able to lie and lie and lie and get away with it. Well, now not anymore. They can't lie anymore. Now when they lie, they look like complete a-holes on Twitter. Joe Biden's Twitter account and the White House Twitter account are quickly becoming probably one of the most fact-checked accounts on the platform. And so I guess the conclusion is, I will never accept being lectured to about misinformation by anybody with a D next to their name ever again. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.